Hi guys, welcome back to Hair Dry Treatment. Soph and Meg are back. We said we hope we'd be smiling. Definitely not smiling. Meg, we get straight into it. How are you feeling after that?
I was going to say good evening to everyone, but it's not. It's not. It's just evening all. I'm going to just let the comments, because there's a few comments in the chat already, sum up how I'm probably feeling right now, and I feel like we're about to have very big discussions on a few players in particular.
Yeah, we just weren't good enough. Like, hold your hands up when you say best team won today. They were up for it more than us. They were sharper than us. All over the park, but in particular that midfield for me, Meg, we lost the game in the midfield today. We were absolutely bullied from start to finish in DD quality. Tielemans strolls through for his goal. It was embarrassing,
Strolls
to be honest
through.
with you. It was embarrassing because you get the draw at half time, you see Southampton, and the second I saw that draw, I knew that we weren't going through. I knew we got the easier draw and we weren't going to make the most of it. We were just shocking, Meg. From start to finish, not good enough.
You've literally hit the nail on the head there. We lost it in the midfield completely. I mean, we have said before, time and time, we don't like the Fred and Matic partnership. It's very unbalanced. And I'm not going to say I dislike Fred right now, but he's got a lot of work to put in if he wants to be a Manchester United player, continue to be a Manchester United player, because he has been found out dramatically at the moment with his passing ability, and he's been able to kind of like scrape through games. Today, it was literally put on a pedestal. The fact that Fred's passing is shocking. It was in the spotlight to everyone, and we all know what happened. He was found out completely in terms of that. Matic, slow, lost the ball for the second goal. It looks like a jog. It's obviously a run in terms of like the pace that they play at. But he was jogging next to the player. Not one Manchester United player thought, I need to just take one for the team and get booked and just take him down. Okay, it'll be a free kick in a dangerous area. But the fact that he was allowed to just run through and take a shot without any pressure is beyond unacceptable. And Donny, I feel for him. I really do. I genuinely feel sorry for Donny because, he's not played in for how long. He does not get a run of minutes. He does not get a run of games. And then he is put into a position. It plays the position that we see Bruno normally playing. And we are constantly, and everyone will just compare Donny to Bruno. And he just didn't shine like Bruno shines, but I also think the players around him didn't help. Pogba, everyone knows that I'm absolutely love Pogba, but his positioning today was so questionable on that left-hand side. And because for me, he is a centre midfielder. He is not on the left-hand side. He doesn't play left of the front three. I like him in the middle of the pitch, and he literally likes himself in the middle of the pitch because he was playing as a centre midfielder. He wasn't playing on that left wing. The only time he really went out there, we went and scored from because he went down their right back and put it in. But the majority of his time, I'd love to see a heat map of where his average positioning was, because for me, he didn't stretch it out that left hand side as much as he should. He wasn't playing as high up as he should. Whereas you've got Greenwood on the other side, who was obviously playing even more naturally, like gifted at playing that higher role. It just didn't work. The whole system, the whole positioning, terrible.
Yeah, tactically not good enough. Attitude not good enough. On the ball, we didn't look after the ball at all. I think we struggled to put 3 passes together. And like you said, the one time we did string a few passes together, we scored. The one positive is I'm happy that Greenwood scored, because we said that a goal's been coming for him last few weeks, and I'm glad that he got the goal. But other than that, I mean, it did take it well. Luke, thank you so much for the contribution. He says we are winning no trophies this season. Meg, after seeing that today, I mean, especially at half time, I mean, the players will know Southampton is who you'll get if we go through. To not come out second half and be so much better. I know we made a lot of changes, and I think that deserves questioning as well. We made a lot of changes, and obviously when you haven't played with certain players, it takes a while to build up a relationship, which could be why we obviously didn't keep the ball that well. We didn't look very fluent, did we? But still, on the ball, that passing was shocking, Meg. I've seen passing like that on Sunday League, and I'm not even joking. Some of the passes today was abysmal, and we're talking about a top team here, top players. And I know they're under pressure, likes of Ndidi, but Meg, for me, Fred Flintstone was back in full force today. He was one example, but there's many examples out there. Could not keep the ball.
I have to add that I think Leicester pressed very well.
Yeah.
But Leicester obviously had a game plan. We're going to put them under pressure. At that point, you must, like as a footballer, you know that there is a time to play and a time not to play. And at times, we wanted to try and play when we didn't have the opportunity to. Yeah. The whole playing out from the back is great if you can do it, because it drags the opposition forward and it allows you to create spaces in behind. So whether that's just in behind the midfield and in front of the forward so they can have it to feet, or if you're really pressing, get a team that press really high and you drop everyone, the space is obviously then in behind. But you have to recognise when to hit it into that space. And we just didn't. We wanted to try and play 5-yard, 10-yard passes in areas that we couldn't, because we didn't have the opportunity to. Their first goal just epitomises everything that I just said, because they allowed us to be you know what it is like. So when you go and set a trap, so you almost say to them, go on, you've got stay far enough back that you will play short, but close enough that I will be right on top of you when you get the ball.
Yeah.
So you can. So they literally set a trap for Maguire, and if Fred knows that he's got someone right behind him, you know when there's a player behind you, that's either got to go one touch in and then Henderson can clear it, or Maguire needs to be looking and saying, they've already pushed up so high that I can play into that space already.
Yeah.
And neither of those things were completed.
I agree.
Sorry, I'm on a right mad rant and I talk loads when I'm...
Meg, go ahead. I totally get it. But you want to bet that, obviously, Fred, that was shocking from Fred, definitely. But I agree. I think Maguire passing it to him as well, he put him in an awkward position. Why do we always try and... how many times have we said we pass out from the back too slowly? We're going to get caught out against top teams. Today we were caught out many times. Yeah, it was 3-1. Vardy missed a clear chance when he was through. He had another chance just after where he probably should have gone for it himself as well. We were lucky, Meg, to come away with that 3-1. That doesn't even look as bad as it was.
Vardy on form scores at least 2 today, and we're fortunate that Vardy's not in form. We can't say he's in form. No, I'm not sitting next to a hedgehog. It's a mirror that I've not put up yet, but you can hear it. Joe, see that in the comment. We're fortunate that Vardy isn't flying high on confidence, because the way he rounded Maguire, he just dragged his shot, but that could have been easily another goal. He had one at the back post as well that he could have taken first time.
Yeah,
just not a great game from players across.
And then
the
obviously
board.
The likes of McTominay come on, can see the stupid free kick, and then the back post. He hasn't got a clue where Iheanacho is. He just jumped a half-hearted jump. Yeah, it's probably slightly above him, but he's got no awareness as to where Iheanacho is. Again, poor individually, but as a team, I mean, there's plenty of individual errors, but as a team as well, we were just so disjointed. Leicester, we were a constant threat going forwards. I don't know, Meg. Like I say, the midfield for me is where we massively lost that. Lack of latent with Matic in there. Fred giving the ball away for fun. Giving the ball away like free school meals like Rashford. Honestly, shocking. We're like a charity today. Leicester had an absolute field day. And like I say, it could have been worse. And you have to say that they deserve to go through. And they'll face Southampton in the next round. But is it a question of mentality yet again, Meg? The fact that big games like this in the cup, I mean, at least we can't say we've lost a semi. That's another positive to take from it. But we can't even get it there at the minute. Yes, we played midweek, but we made plenty of changes. There's no reason why we should not be up for this game today.
I wouldn't even... We lost it on the actual ability and quality of our football, not even mentality today. The quality of our football was so poor that we got picked off. I mean, even before Fred assisted Iheanacho, Fred had lost the ball 4 or 5 times in the middle of the park. Could have been punished easily. And it's I mean, playing centre mid, so I don't know how you do it. That role is very difficult. You've got to check shoulders. Fred didn't even check his shoulders at times. He was just went to play a ball and the Leicester player was there.
Mm.
That midfield role, you've got to be able to check shoulders. You've got to be able to pass.
Yeah.
And today he couldn't do it either. I don't even know what he was doing.
I don't know if he stayed on.
Well, I was literally say someone at the very start of the chat said about how Fred stayed on the pitch. and this is also why I feel for Donny, because Donny's gone off that pitch. I'm not saying that he was fantastic, but he's gone off that pitch and Fred stayed on.
Yeah.
And he's got to be he must be going off that pitch thinking, how has he stayed on and I'm being subbed? Where you could have had McTominay, Donny and Bruno in the centre and took Fred and Matic off, who were just piss poor.
That's literally sums us up today, piss poor. Nicole said, we literally don't have the balls to go all the way. You've got to question the mentality if we not get up for games like this. Leicester wanted it way more than us today. Regardless of anything else, you always say you have to work hard before anything. It's pointless being technically good if you're not going to work hard. They worked harder than us today, Meg. They were first at everything. And like I say, I know we played in Europe midweek and what, but we made plenty of changes. It just wasn't good enough. Like, it was not good enough. And so too many individuals just weren't up to scratch today. We've mentioned certain mistakes, but across the board, Meg, disjointed, I think, was the right word to use. I'm just worried now. Do you think this result could have a bigger effect on the remainder of our season now?
I hope not. I feel like it's not a silver lining, because obviously you want to be competing in every single competition. But for me, you have to look at it now and say, well, our priorities have been set for us. To win a cup, we have to win the Europa League. So we have to go all out for that competition. There is no, well, we'll play a cup side and we'll play the Prem side. You're fighting on two fronts and that's it. And you haven't got long to be fighting on them for. So the only kind of thing that I'm kind of getting from this, and like, right, our priorities have been set. We haven't got these 2 additional games in the FA Cup now with pressure on us. We have to go into the Europa League and go all out for it, and we have to ensure that in the Premier League that we finish second.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we keep saying, don't we, keep screaming, it's on the thumbnail to the video, we want to get a trophy this season. I'm gutted because, like George said there, Southampton would have been perfect for us, Meg, wouldn't it? Like, playing Southampton in the semis would have been the ideal game for us, realistically, going in and obviously getting to a final, finally getting over that hurdle. But we haven't even managed that this season. Do you think now, like, we should already be going all out for Europa League, but now it makes it more of a priority, doesn't it? Because we want silverware.
Yeah, like I said, I just think it just sets it in stone for us where our priorities now lie. If you want a cup, we have to go for this Europa League. And whilst we're all saying, Southampton would have been a great tie, Europa League, we're probably saying that's the easiest tie you could have got out of the teams that were left. And now I'm thinking, like, we've got to make sure we get through it. Like, we've been given the gift of the draw, but are we going to get through it?
Yeah, I'm going to touch on Ashley's comment right there because that's really important. But firstly, Van der Beek, I agree with this comment. For me, he's not a number 10. He plays it far too safe. He's more of that combination. Like, he wants a little 1-2, coming into the box late. We know he's useful in the area. He's a little dummy for a goal. He's an intelligent player. But for me, Meg, he's not a 10. He drifts too much to be a number 10 for my liking. Do you know, Bruno, he's a completely different player to Bruno, so I don't get why people compare. But for me, I'd rather see him in an 8.
But this is where Pogba's positioning was not helping him. Pogba was playing left, and honestly, if you go back to that first half especially, Pogba's picking the ball up centre mid, like more central than Donny, like in position, more central than Donny was, which is completely which is fine if you're going to rotate position, so you're not just stuck in, well, this is my box on the pitch and I can't leave this section. But it's got to be fluent, and that means Donny's then got to drift out naturally to the left-hand side, or Martial goes left and Donny steps up to be the number 9, which I don't see that happening in terms of Donny's position. But I don't think Pogba helped Van der Beek at all, because I think his version of this front of the left three, left of the front three, sorry. Just, for me, like I said, I love Pogba. Everyone knows that. I'm a very big fan. But I think that needs to be questioned. As in, why were you so central and so deep?
I think that's got to come on Ollie as well, though, hasn't it? Playing players out of position, that's got to come down to Ollie. But this is a really important message. As it says, I can't believe all the abuse and the racism Fred is getting right now on Instagram. Regardless of how poor Fred played tonight, that is absolutely disgusting. And what I will say is they're not fans.
This should not be a standard procedure after a game where a player has not played well. That we instantly know if a player doesn't play well, and he's black or of a mixed race, then you will see it straight away on Instagram. And this should not. I do not understand people that think that this is a standard procedure that we need to go through anymore. It's absolutely disgusting, and I reiterate exactly what Sophie just said. Not fans of the team at all, because if they were, you can call a player out for having a poor performance, which we have done, but under no circumstance does his poor performance originate from the colour of his skin.
No.
So it doesn't even need to be mentioned in a conversation. Ridiculous.
Disgusting. And obviously we stand with Fred, stand against racism completely. And the sooner something's done about this, the better, because like you say, it's becoming a trend now, isn't it, Megan? It's horrible. Every time a player has a bad game, it reverts to the colour of the skin, and it's disgraceful. And like I say, we stand with Fred on that. No matter how poor a player plays, they do not deserve that at all. Nicole is in the chat. Big up to Nicole. She says, girls, do you think we should have started strong rather than those 4 subs after going down? Or do you think it would have made no difference as a whole today? Mentally, I don't think we were there today. But I always say this, Meg, you know I do. If I was manager, if Solskjaer was manager, I would definitely put my strongest team out, get the game done and dusted as early as I can, and then rotate after that. And I know that's not always the case, but especially against a team like Leicester, when we're going all out for silverware, I would have definitely started strong. What's your thoughts, mate? Do you think that would have made much difference today?
I would have preferred to have seen a Pogba and Bruno on the pitch at the same time, rather than have Pogba on and then I think because we all knew that he probably wouldn't last the 90 minutes. Ollie mentioned that pre the game because of the injury and just how he hasn't really played as much football as he'd have probably wanted him to have done at this point. But you saw the difference on midweek when Pogba came on, how that influenced Bruno. So I'd have liked to have seen those two together. But he's obviously gone a different way. I'm not sure how I would have played it, to be honest, because I feel like probably was time for a few players like Bruno to have a rest.
Yeah.
But you risk if you start him not being able to have a rest because it would have been so close still, or could have been so close still, I should have said.
Yeah, Nolan, thank you for that. It's disappointed by the result. The squad on the whole played poor. I agree that Van der Beek plays in the 8 would suit him better. Also agree that putting a strong squad to start. Yeah, I think an 8 for Van der Beek would suit him a lot better. His little combinations in there. He does like to get forward. I think he's more of that box-to-box player. He's just a tidy player. Like Doug said, please, guys, like, share, subscribe to Hairdryer Treatment. Nearly at 15k. Thank you for that, Doug. Appreciate it. And then Ryan sent a comment about racism. He says, racism seems to happen almost every game, and yet still nothing is being done about it. It's unacceptable and people need to be held accountable. I believe you meant to say there. Yeah, and I think that's why, Meg, on social media there should be some kind of way, maybe you need to show ID or something to register an account, so people can be held accountable because it's too easy at the minute, isn't it? People can just say whatever they want and there's no consequence for it.
I'm still really unsure as to why there hasn't been any action taken, because this has been highlighted through not even through football memes last year. Okay, so the whole Black Lives Matter movement, we see the whole the racism, after we've talked about it, after games where players don't have a great performance, we see that constantly at the moment. And yet it's still taking so long to have some form of, not even just conversation about it, but some action from these conversations.
Yeah.
I just don't believe that there is nothing being done. So surely some of these conversations must have been like, right, this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
I still don't understand the process of why it's not being done.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's disgusting. And like Nicole said there, the sooner people cannot say anonymous online, the better. And I completely agree with that. In terms of the game, Meg, any players in particular that stood out for you? Because obviously we're here pretty downbeat, pretty negative about the team in particular. Certain players we've mentioned. I mean, obviously Fred Flintstone we've mentioned, Tony Partial we've touched on. Certain players just weren't up to scratch today, but as a team we weren't good enough. Was there any player that stood out for you?
In the actual? A couple of chances created. Well, I say chances because the balls put in by Telles, a couple of corners in the first half, were waiting to be just put away at times. I think some of the crosses, we didn't make enough of them. They were delivered far post,
Agree.
And whether that's too far away from a chance, if it's really far back post and it's slightly out in between like the penalty spot and the 18-yard box, at least head it back, back where it came from for someone else to meet.
Yeah.
I just thought that was standard procedure, but apparently it's not. That's just a practice that all footballers or all teams do. Go so far back post, you head it back where it came across goal. But yeah, I think Tellez's deliveries were very good today.
Yeah. Jack says Brendan Rodgers absolutely schooled Ollie today. The difference in possession and the way that they pressed compared to us was pathetic. You have to say he did.
Credit.
Yeah, you have to say he did. We just could not.
Credit.
Second half, I was thinking Ollie will have a chat with them at half time. They'll see the draw. They'll come out. They didn't come out at all. Shocking. Just too slow. Second to everything. Like I say, they wanted it more than us. Their system was to obviously contain us. Counter attack was always a threat constantly. When the game opened up, that suited them. We didn't look. I think we could still be playing till midnight, and we still wouldn't score. To be honest with you, Meg, the way that we were playing, genuinely, it didn't look like we were going to score at all.
Galvatron has just put just above this comment about Greenwood played okay. Greenwood and Marshall's but
we just didn't provide going forwards, did we? We didn't link.
The one time that we did,
yeah.
I think like I said, I do think Greenwood took his goal really well for somebody who hasn't been in goal scoring form. He was at the right place, right time. I think if you watch it, you can see his mouth move as if he shouted for Donny to leave it. So but I am really happy for Greenwood that he was able to slot that one home. And at that point, I did think, okay, we're not playing well, but we've still created an opportunity here, and we haven't finished it. But yeah, Greenwood did take his goal well, and I'm like I said, I'm glad for him that he scored.
I know I call him Tony partial because we don't really see much of him in the game, but in all fairness, he didn't have much service. I think he was dropping too deep, like really deep, to the point where Tellez at one point was running down the left hand side, and there's absolutely no one up in support of him. But it's frustration, isn't it? Because he's not getting much service. You drop deeper to try and get the ball. But like I say, we're just so disjointed today. It was unreal, and unfortunately, that affected Martial's game. But yeah, I think on the whole, like you say, I'm happy that Greenwood got his goal. We've said it's been coming for a few weeks now. He's finally got that, and that's the one positive from today. Really, the little Donny dummy as well just before it. Nippon, thank you for the contribution. Says here's a poem to cheer you up, ladies. Manchester is red, London is blue. City have no Champions League trophies yet, while Nottingham Forest have 2. I like the poem. I like that poem.
I mean, you've put yet in because it's significant. Because by the end of this season, who knows? Because the way they're playing, you look at them and you look at us and you just think, why don't we play a bit like them? And that's just me being as a football fan. You've got to be able to say, you look at Man City at the moment and they play some really good football. They've got a ridiculous team in terms of talent on there, and they get the job done. And we've seen it today. We haven't got the job done.
Yeah,
a really interesting game actually between Man City and Chelsea. That draw.
Yeah, because Chelsea are flying at the minute. To be fair,
yeah.
Ian says ridiculous situation, but we miss Rashford even though he's out of form. Still gives us more than any other winger. We did that with today. You mentioned obviously Pogba being out of position. I do think we miss Rashford today, definitely. But at the same time, you look at that Leicester team and the players that they've got. There's no excuses today, is there, Meg? We just simply were not good enough. Yeah,
we just, and like I said, it's not even the whole mentality. I know we have to get up for the games, but just the quality of football. You play like that, and if you play like that and you expect to win, I think they must have thought we were playing a Sunday League team, because you can't play like that to win a game against Leicester City. You literally cannot turn up to a game, play or pass the ball like they did, with absolutely no looking, terrible decision making, not knowing when to go long, not knowing when to play in between the lines, and expect to win a game of football, because you won't. You literally will not win.
No, and I think Ollie just obviously have to have some of the flack as well, because the system didn't change. It obviously wasn't working. The wholesale changes to the line made us all disjointed as well. Fred staying on the pitch was another questionable one. I think there's certain things that Ollie needs to take blame for today as well. Do you agree with this from George? Meg, he says we badly need midfielders in the summer. Do you think that? Because for me, McFred is a very limited midfield combo, isn't it? We've already said Fred Matters is unbalanced. Do you think we need to sign midfielders?
I think we need to sign a proper centre midfielder and a proper CDM, because I don't think we'll need another number 10. I think you've got players that will play that role. Like I said, I would not put Pogba on the left hand side. I like to see him more in the centre. I don't think he plays you might, if you're desperate and like midweek where we didn't, and today where we don't really have the players, he will push out there, but you can tell that that's not his natural position. For me, we need at least I'm going to say a number 4, but the CDM, where the person's just going to sit there, screen across, side to side, breaks the play up, isn't slow, and you've got 2 names on the screen at the moment. I'd take either of them right now.
Me too. A lot of people saying they wouldn't have Declan Rice at United, but for me, I think he's an absolute quality player and just what we need in the middle. I really do. I don't know if you watched the game earlier with Arsenal. Crazy game, by the way. Jesse Lingard, again, scoring against Arsenal. But Rice did a run at the end of the game where he literally strolled past everyone, Thomas Partey included, strolled past them. We need that drive in our midfield, but the quality as well on the ball. Like, he's so composed on the ball. His protection in front of the back four. I think he's outstanding, and I would love him at United. And I agree with what Lonsdale said today. He was outstanding today yet again.
I think you've just said it, that the quality when he's on the ball.
We haven't got that.
If you've got it, do something with it, not just break. But Fred, we always say that Fred does try hard, and he does the dog's work where you break up a bit of the play, but he can't. Once he gets the ball back, it just loses it. There's nothing good to come from it. You've done the hard work, and today he just didn't do the easy bit, which was pass it to a Man United player.
It was awful. I literally cannot believe he stayed on the pitch. I genuinely cannot believe he was that bad tonight. I don't know how he stayed on the pitch, but Brighton up next for us, Meg. That's our next fixture. That's not going to be an easy game, is it? Obviously, Brighton, I think Welbeck scored a few goals recently for them, hasn't he? They beat Newcastle, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Obviously near the bottom. So it's going to be another cup final for them, isn't it, against Manchester United? And we need to be better. We've got the international break. Hopefully, certain players will get rested and we can bounce back, because I do worry about this. Obviously, our away form now has ended as well. Is this going to affect now potentially the remainder of our season?
I hope it doesn't. Brighton, I watched them at times and they actually play some really good football. They caused us problems in the very start of the season.
We had the goal that was given after the whistle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was the Brighton game.
They put so many deep crosses. They put loads of. They should have scored about 4 from the back post. Wan-Bissaka played really narrow, and Sonny March was on their left wing, and was literally an acre of space for about 4 chances. So we just need to be wary of that. Like I said, I actually think Brighton played some decent football. So it's not going to be a rollover by any stretch of the imagination. If we turn up today, if we turn up and we play like we have done, and we know that we can do, we'll tear them apart. But you don't know who's going to turn up. Yeah, and that's the issue, isn't it? You don't know which side of Manchester United is going to be there. Yeah,
it's true. Ryan says, honestly, I think United will look for cheaper alternatives in the summer. We'll never get back to the top if we aren't prepared to invest and bring the best players to Old Trafford. I agree with that. I think we were linked with Milinkovic from Palace, weren't we, the other day? I personally don't want Milinkovic. I think he is a cheaper option. He's a decent player, but does he improve on what we've got? I don't think he massively does, to be honest with you. GTNS, I was spot on. Trossard ran us like ragged last time. He kept hitting the woodwork, if I remember rightly. I think he hit the woodwork a few times and he had a few good chances, just couldn't score. So like you say, Meg, it's going to be a tough one, but we always know teams, it's like a cup final when you're playing against United. We've got to bring our A game, and if we don't, we will be punished. Today we didn't, and we got punished by Leicester. We need to improve, and I'm just hoping the international break has come at a good time for us. Maybe it is a bit of fatigue and we can bounce back, but it's concerning, isn't it, Meg? The way that we didn't even have a phase in the game where I felt like we were in control, but I felt like I was going to score here. That just didn't come at all today.
No, I think we were chasing the game. Even when we scored, we were very much chasing the game. But I think that's because we weren't passing very well, and unless you have got, you can score without the ball if you're very fortunate that the other team gives you a goal, but
or 2, like West Ham today.
Yeah. you've got to have the ball to create chances, and when we got the ball, we weren't good enough with it.
No, we weren't. George thinks we'll get Ben White or Tyrone Mings again. That's a cheaper option, isn't it? But we definitely, for me, we need to get a centre back. We need to get a CDM. We need to get a right winger, and we need to get a proper centre forward. Can we see him getting all them in the summer? No, to be honest with you, no.
The way or the amount of time we take to do transfers, we'll be looking at 2025 to sort this problem out.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's still a lot of areas that we need to strengthen, and I think that shows again today. The lack of squad depth when we do rotate is simply not good enough. And obviously, like I've already mentioned, so disjointed as well because certain players haven't played for a long time. We do have to bear in mind that players aren't fully fit, like Pogba, for example, Martial coming back from injury. That obviously would explain why they were a bit sluggish today compared to their normal. But all in all, Meg, the team that we put out today is good enough to beat Leicester. We just simply weren't at it, were we? And they deserve the win, and best of luck to Leicester in the next round. I wouldn't be against Leicester winning the FA Cup, to be honest with you. I just don't want to see Man City lift it. So all the best to Leicester in the next round. I'm just feeling frustrated. I feel proper downbeat because I just don't think we proper went at Leicester today. I think that's a frustrating thing for me. I don't think we proper went at it. We weren't up for it. We didn't try our best, and that's what you expect at a minimum from United. And today we just didn't.
Yeah, and whoever goes through between Southampton and Leicester, I think we'll all be supporting them because I'd rather either of those two than Man City or Chelsea. But that could have easily been us. And like I said, had we been able to go at them and had we brought a bit of quality to the pitch today, it could have quite easily been us. But that's the way it goes today. Not our turn.
No. Man of the match? Is it Ian Asho? I'm guessing that's who you're going for.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't give it to. I'd have given it to Ollie if he'd taken Fred off, really, but didn't even manage that correctly. No, I'd have given it to Iheanacho because I don't think for us. Who would we have given it to out of our team?
No one. The ref were blowing a full-time whistle and putting us out of that misery. I think that's about it. It was shocking. I agree with Ross. Hardly tested Schmeichel. He barely had anything to do. He had that Bruno free kick at the end, and he just made that save look easy. To be fair, well, that was it, wasn't it? Shocking. Ian says Rashford man of the match. You guys will be cheering us on in semi-finals this year. Yes, Chelsea to beat City. I would like to see that. I gave Fred Leicester's man of the match. I saw my dad do a tweet saying if I was Ollie, I'd tell Pogba to mark Fred. That made me laugh. That did make me laugh. Greenwood man of the match. I think Greenwood scoring a goal. That's ironic positive today, Meg. I think he probably would say Greenwood. I wouldn't say he had a man of the match performance, but I'm happy that he got a goal, and that's positive. So hopefully he can build from that now. But Europa League, man, we've got to go all out for the Europa League now, man. We want to get a trophy. Top four, obviously, we've got to beat Brighton. I think Spurs as well. Obviously, we've got coming up. Win those 2 games, and I think we've all but cemented it. Europa League, look, let's get a trophy. I'm so frustrated because, like I say, Southampton, it's a massive missed opportunity for us because that was a perfect semi-final. Yeah,
like I said, the Europa League now is where it's at in terms of silverware. Dare I say, a winnable next round. Ajax and Roma, depending on who goes through, much more difficult than what I predict Granada to be. So, what's one game at a time, and you have to take it one game at a time. But today, we need to quickly move on from that. We need to quickly put that behind us and not leave it in our memories. We just need to go out and say, right, FA Cup's done, dusted. Nothing else you can do about it. If you lose in the Premier League, you've got the next game, you've got to recuperate some sort of pride. It's done now. You're out the FA Cup. There doesn't need to be a discussion about it moving on. It just needs to be right. Premier League next, international break, and the Europa League and all that. So,
Yeah, I completely agree. It's good that we have a game straight away to win. Oh, wait, no, Granada, easy peasy draw. I don't think there is an easy draw left in Europa League, to be fair. I don't think there is an easy game left in that. I think it's still going to be a test, but like Meg said, we should be going through against them. George said Ollie struggles against better coaches in cups. He does, Meg. We have to say, both of us obviously want Ollie to do really well, and we're not going to sit here and say Ollie out, but like I've already mentioned, he does need to take some blame for that tonight, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he managed the game very well. I think like both questions as to why certain players stayed on the pitch. Obviously you have already mentioned, and the way that you would manage is putting your strongest team out. So whether that is, I just don't know why he didn't. But again,
Darian, thank you for the super chat. Says, where was James today? No pace up front at all. I do think James would have been useful today, to be fair, to stretch Leicester a little bit, to been an option, to run in behind, to give us that breakaway pace. We didn't really have that. Like I say, James could have been the link between the midfield and Martial in that sense. He could have drove the ball out, drove the team forwards. We didn't have that link at all, did it? It was like we're looking up, and like I say, Martial was dropping that deep, and you do that as a centre forward if you're not getting much service. Naturally, obviously, you want to get on the ball. He dropped so deep, but then we had no outlet. That's what I mean. Like for me today, we just did not look at all that we were going to score. We could be playing till midnight and still would not score the way that we were playing. I was a bit puzzled by Dan James, to be fair. The form that he's been in, obviously he's had a good run of games. I'm guessing it's obviously because of tiredness and whatnot, but to not even come on as well, I was surprised, mate.
Yeah, just like how you mentioned, he could have been like the link up with because Martial dropping in deep as well. But it just goes back to positioning, and players on the pitch, their positions today was just terrible.
Yeah.
And I think if you haven't got a link-up player or somebody that, Martial will drop to be not so isolated as well, not even just to get the ball, but not to be so isolated. So when he gets the ball, that he's around players. Someone like James on the pitch, again, more naturally in the mindset to go forward rather than Pogba being in the midfield, more like midfield set, so like defending as well. Yeah, he didn't even come on. Ahmed didn't come on, which again you've got Cavani, but fresh legs.
Ahmed did come on, but like
but not when the four that I meant. When you did the four, I'd have put Ahmed on then to kind of freshen up around Cavani.
Yeah, Paddy said it was a 2 out of 10 performance from Fred. Did you agree with that? 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
I actually do.
2 out of 10.
I can't believe he stayed on the pitch for so long. I've already mentioned that though. Cannot believe it. Meg obviously going into an international break. Like I say, hopefully players can recuperate and get a rest. We will do a video before the Brighton game, but right now, hand on heart, how are you feeling going into that? Would you say that you're confident we'll bounce back, or are you a bit concerned?
I'm grateful for the international break. If I'm honest, I feel like players. I mean, when I say players need a rest, I don't. Some of these players are going to play 3 times for their country. So it's not so much the physical rest, but kind of just a pressure rest where you're not so under strain from this whole, fan from Manchester United looking in. So I just hope that all the players that are going out come back fit and don't pick up injuries. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Rashford pull out of the England team. Yeah, the way that he is with injuries, and perhaps they might have a little word and say, look, we need you to be fully physically rested when you get back, so that you're ready to go for Manchester United. But so I wouldn't be shocked to see him pull out. But yeah, just hope that going into the next game that players have had the opportunity to kind of collect themselves a little bit.
Yeah, Ian said he was fuming that Ahmed got chucked on for that amount of time. Kid that age and you're chucking him on for late, that's crap. Was it 6 minutes? No, 7 minutes I think he got, didn't he?
But this I was surprised that I didn't see him earlier on with the 4 changes that he had.
But we've said it before about Ollie and the late substitutions. Obviously he made it earlier one today with the 4, when the likes of Ahmed came on late. I mean, what's he going to do in that amount of time realistically? We needed 2 goals at that point. Like, you can't really judge him on that, to be fair.
No.
It must be frustrating for Ahmed sitting there seeing us offer nothing creatively going forwards, and I would have liked to have seen him come on earlier as well, especially like losing, you got to go for it anyway. I would have just much rather just put him on as well. But I understand, obviously, you probably have to keep one sub just in case we had an injury or whatnot, so I do understand that. But yeah, a lot of people thought he would start today, to be fair. A lot of people thought Ahmed would start today. I was a bit disappointed not to see that. I was surprised to see Donny, but obviously he has played in all the FA Cup games, hasn't he, as well. But simply not good enough. I think that's how you round off today's game. Simply not good enough. Too disjointed. Too many players just not up to scratch. We've already mentioned certain individuals, but as a team, just not good enough. I expected us to come out second half and improve. Simply did not do that. Leicester deserved to go through, and we wish them all the best in the next round. I don't think I can summarise it any more than that.
It could have been simply the best, and it wasn't.
Could have been. Yeah.
It was simply not good enough.
It was shocking. Yeah, simply shocking. That's what it was. Guys, sorry that it's not been a positive one. Obviously, we were hoping to be talking about a win. Unfortunately, we're not. We're talking about a very disappointing defeat. But we're back again. We'll be back, obviously, during the week anyway. Me and Meg have got some other content lined up as well when lockdown is over. You'll be seeing us and our techers. We're going to do some videos where we have got a ball at our feet. So that'll be exciting. And we'll release more info about that closer to it. But thanks to everyone in the chat who's contributed. Thanks to everyone, obviously, who's sent in questions, who's given their views on that awful game today. As always, my channel is nothing about you, so I appreciate that. Please, guys, just make sure you give Meg a follow on all her socials as well. Meg, if you just tell people where they can find you.
Kind of thing, exactly, just put point and cheer me up. If you just notice, just put my hands lower and then worked out which finger it's meant to be. So, yeah, at Meg and Can with a little underscore underneath. Like Soph said, we are going to bring you some different style content. So we're very excited about that. Just need to sort and arrange it. But yeah, not our day, but we'll be back.
Definitely. It's not the end of the world. It's disappointing because we all had eyes on the FA Cup, of course. We've still got to fight for the Europa League. Obviously, top four as well. We need to seal that. So like you say, Meg, we can't dwell on it. We need to move on. It's what's happened has happened. It wasn't good enough. I'm sure the players will know that. We need to make changes, definitely. Fred, for me, I would not start him next game, but we'll see what happens. Thank you for that, James. Guys, if you are new, please hit that sub button. Obviously, the like button if you enjoyed the content as well. If we have missed any comments, and obviously we apologise for that, we don't do it on purpose, just drop it in the comments afterwards, and me and Meg do check and we will respond there. Until next time, guys, stay positive, and we'll see you soon.